So 1/2 plus 1/4. I'm just I want you all to draw a square for the half. Alright? And divide that square into 2 equal parts. And then shade it. Shade one side for the half, right? So that's a half. The red shaded part is 1/2. Are you good with that? And then for the quarter, I want you all to draw a square like that. Alright. And let's split it into quarters. So we'll do like that, right? A line dividing it in half up, a vertical line divided in half, horizontal line divided in half. Let's split this square into little quarters here. And we'll shade this quarter purple. Right? So that's a quarter. So that's a half, that's a quarter. You got that? Now before we do anything, I just want you to draw the answer. Don't do any math, I want you to draw what that answer is going to look like on the square. Take your time. Draw that answer. You take your half, you take your quarter, you put them together. Alright, so hopefully what you got is something like this. You should have your half and your quarter and the same square. Make sense? Now I want you to try to write what this is as a fraction, this answer. Write it down. Just write down the answer. So we didn't do any math, we just used squares, okay? 3/1. No, it's not 3/1. Just for fun, do this. Take this line here, extend it across, okay? And what is represented by the colored part of this big square? Half. So this is half because you got a full square and half of it is shaded. This is a quarter because we split the square into 1, 2, 3, 4 parts, and 1/4, 1 out of 4 parts was shaded. See, 1 out of 2 parts is shaded, 1 out of 4 parts is shaded. Here, how can we represent the shaded parts as a fraction? There are 1, 2, 3, 4 parts to this square. 1, 2, 3 of them are shaded and 1 is unshaded. So we can represent this the colored squares as there are 3 out of 4 squares shaded. Right? 3/4, right? Now the way to do the math on that is you kind of come back to this square, and what I want you to do is draw a line across like that. Okay? And notice that, yeah, 1 out of 2 parts was shaded, was colored, but now we've drawn a line across, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. And out of those 4 parts, how many are colored in this square? 2. So how could you represent the 2 colored parts as a fraction of the whole square? 2/4, right? And that's fine because, and this other one is kind of fine because it's already in quarters. You just have to, when you're adding fractions, they have to be the same type of fraction. They have to have the same bottom, the same denominator, okay? They have the same denominator. We don't have to do any extra work. You've got the same number on the bottom. These are quarters. There's 2 quarters, here's 1/4. They make 3/4. Right? And that's also the same if you think about money. Think about quarters. If you've got coins, this would be 2/4, this would be 1/4, and that would make 3/4. So it would be kind of like, you know, this is kind of like 50 cents, this is 25 cents, and 3/4 is what? 75 cents. Does that make sense? That's what's going on here, right? Now, the math part is is working to get the same bottom, right? So what can we do to the half to turn it into 2/4? If you're doing math, what do you multiply the half by to turn it into quarters? 2/2. It's a unit fraction. It's basic. 2/2 is 1, right? 2/2 is just 1. Like 2/2 is not going to change the value of a half. Like 50 cents or 2/4 is the same thing, isn't it? Like a half is the same thing as 2/4, isn't it? Because when I multiply by 2/2, I get 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. That's how I do it with just the math, with just the numbers, to turn the half into 2/4, right? I just multiply it by 2/2. And that gives me 2/4 plus 1/4, and what's 2/4 plus 1/4? 3/4. Yep, and that's a wrap.